What was the taxation? What was the economic system? What was the role of taxation in Roman
The
Empire?
Romans are really weird with this. So in the Republic, once they started to acquire overseas provinces, right? They had to decide, well, what are we going to do with these provinces? And they, in the end, settled on this notion of we'll put a Roman governor in charge, we'll collect some sort of taxes. But they often didn't collect the taxes directly. Instead, they would sell contracts to private businesses to collect taxes. So the private businesses would bid and say, all right, if you give us the contract to collect taxes in Sicily, we'll give you X number of money up front, and then we go out and try to collect enough to make back that money and make ourselves a profit. And this is a terrible system because obviously they're going to go and try and squeeze as much as they can out of Sicily. And these companies were called publicans, publicani. And in the Bible, there's a phrase, publicans and sinners, and that should give you an idea how they're viewed. So everybody hated these tax collectors, and it was a really kind of dumb system because, you know, the publicans were going out and squeezing way more than they should in an unhealthy way from the provinces. And the Roman state was doing this kind of weird thing that they should have been doing themselves. And over time, that shifts a bit and it becomes more like your standard taxation. And a lot of the taxation ends up being in kind, too. So it's like, okay, we're taxing you. You pay it in wheat if you're a farmer or something, not necessarily in cash. So it was, in many ways, the Roman economy is underdeveloped. They didn't have a lot of the sophisticated systems that we have today, and it probably held them back in some ways. And again, they have that resistance to change. The Romans also had weird notions about just business and profit making, that at least originally there was this notion that's shameful. Again, the only thing that's a worthwhile profession is farming. So, you know, rich Romans would get involved in what we would call business, you know, manufacturing, particularly long distance trade with ships, but they would often do it through sort of front companies or employees who did it on their behalf officially. And then they sort of funnel the profits to the guy funding it because they don't want to be soiled with, you know, business, which is beneath them. So the Romans had a lot of weird attitudes about the economy that I think in some ways didn't help.
But nevertheless, they had many of the elements of the modern economic system with taxation, the record keeping.
They were good at record keeping. So the Romans, I mean, the census is a Roman word. They're the ones that came up with that. So,
And obviously the laws around everything.
yes. So in certain ways, yes, they were extremely sophisticated. And of course, the biggest thing about people in the ancient world and today is that they weren't stupider than us. I mean, sometimes you get this assumption, oh, well, in the ancient world, they just weren't as smart or something. No. They were fully as intelligent as we were. They didn't have access to the same technology as we do, but that doesn't mean they were any less smart.